In recent times, the wilderness has claimed several hikers who ventured into its vast, unpredictable terrains, their stories fading into the shadows of the forests and mountains that they explored. The media frequently reports such incidents, where search and rescue operations turn into somber recoveries, or sometimes celebrations of miraculous survivals. Yet, there remains a subset of these tales, those hikers who vanish without a trace, leaving behind more questions than answers. One such example is the story of Eric Lewis, whose disappearance has puzzled experts and enthusiasts alike for over a decade. On a seemingly ordinary summer day in 2010, Eric Lewis, a 57-year-old experienced climber from Duvall, Washington, embarked on a climb on Mount Rainier, one of the most revered and risky climbs in the United States. His journey, which began in the spirit of adventure and challenge, took an unexpected turn when, at a crucial segment of the climb, he simply unclipped from his team's rope and disappeared into thin air. The only clue left behind was a mysteriously tied butterfly knot, an eerie and silent witness to his sudden absence. The disappearance of Eric Lewis is not just another missing person case. It is a chilling reminder of the power and unpredictability of nature. It raises profound questions about safety, the limits of human endurance, and the mysteries that can unfold in remote, unforgiving environments. The fact that a well-prepared and seasoned climber like Eric could vanish so completely is both baffling and alarming, casting a shadow over the climbing community and haunting those who continue to explore the rugged terrains of Mount Rainier. His story is an illustration of how quickly an adventure can turn into misfortune, leaving a mystery that continues to echo through the corridors of time. Eric Lewis, at the age of 57, was a resident of Duvall, Washington, a small, picturesque town known for its close-knit community and scenic beauty. With a deep passion for the outdoors, Eric had cultivated considerable experience in mountain climbing over the years, making him no stranger to the challenges posed by the high peaks. His familiarity with rugged terrains and his ability to navigate them had earned him respect in the climbing community. This background makes his sudden disappearance even more baffling and underlines the mysterious nature of his last expedition. Mount Rainier looms large over Washington state, standing at 14,411 feet. It is the highest peak in the Cascade Range and one of the most iconic landmarks in the Pacific Northwest. Located about 59 miles southeast of Seattle, this massive stratovolcano is visible on clear days, drawing the eyes and the spirit of adventurers and tourists alike. The mountain is infamous for its challenging climbs, with conditions that can change swiftly from welcoming to treacherous. Its glaciers, crevasses, and unpredictable weather patterns require climbers to be highly skilled and exceptionally prepared. The historical significance of Mount Rainier in the climbing world is deep-rooted. It was the site of the first recorded summit in 1870 by Hazard Stevens and Filman Beecher Van Trump via what is now known as the Gibraltar Ledges Route, the very route Eric Lewis was attempting when he vanished. This historical route underscores the mountain's role as a testing ground for climbers, serving as a reminder of both the triumphs and tragedies that have unfolded on its slopes. On the morning of July 1st, 2010, Eric Lewis and his two climbing companions began their ascent up Mount Rainier, specifically tackling the Gibraltar Ledges route. This day was marked by a mixture of anticipation and the calm that often precedes unforeseen events. As they climbed, the weather started to turn. What began as a clear morning gradually worsened into conditions of high winds and low visibility. These deteriorating weather conditions played a critical role in the day's tragic outcome. By early afternoon, around 1 p.m., and at an elevation of approximately 13,900 feet, a crucial and mysterious event occurred. Eric's companions, who were a few feet ahead, stopped to wait for him to join. However, when they pulled on the climbing rope that connected them to Eric, they found it oddly slack. Upon hauling it in, they discovered the end tied off with a butterfly knot, an indication that Eric had intentionally unclipped himself from the rope. He was nowhere in sight, having vanished into the white, misty expanse of the mountain without leaving any discernible tracks or signs of his path. The immediate response from Eric's climbing partners was one of confusion and urgency. Initially, they searched the immediate area, calling out for Eric and scanning the slopes below for any sign of him. As the visibility continued to decline with the weather, their frantic search proved fruitless. Faced with the harsh realities of their situation and the unforgiving mountain environment, they made the difficult decision to descend to Camp Muir, the primary base camp at 10,200 feet. Here, they reported Eric's disappearance to the park rangers, triggering a swift reaction. The rangers at Camp Muir coordinated the initial search efforts, recognizing the severity of the situation, high altitude, challenging terrain, and worsening weather. They mobilized quickly. Search teams were assembled, comprising both park rangers and experienced volunteers from the climbing community. These teams were dispatched with the dual aim of finding Eric and ensuring no further lives were put at risk amid the increasingly perilous conditions. The role of the park rangers was pivotal. They not only led the search operations, but also provided critical insights into the possible location Eric might have sought shelter in or could have accidentally reached. The initial hours after a disappearance are crucial, and the rangers' expertise in navigating the treacherous mountain terrain of Mount Rainier was instrumental in the extensive search that unfolded over the following days. As the seriousness of Eric Lewis's disappearance settled, a comprehensive search operation was quickly organized. The search teams were composed of ground crews, including National Park Service climbing rangers and experienced mountaineers from commercial climbing companies. Also, volunteers from local mountain rescue organizations joined the search. Additionally, aerial support was provided by helicopters from both military and commercial sources, which scoured the mountain from above, allowing the searchers to cover the vast and rugged terrain more effectively. The search efforts focused on areas where Eric was last seen and where he could have possibly reached after separating from his team. These included the immediate surroundings of the Gibraltar Ledges route and the lower slopes where Eric might have sought refuge from the harsh conditions. The areas around known crevasses and potential snow caves were also thoroughly searched, given the likelihood of seeking shelter or accidentally falling. Among the clues uncovered during the extensive search were Eric's backpack, climbing harness, and snow shovel. These items were found at an elevation of 13,600 feet, several hundred feet below the last known point where he was seen. This discovery was perplexing. The equipment was essential for survival and climbing safety. Why would Eric leave them behind unless under utter distress or confusion? Moreover, searchers found a small snow cave at 13,800 feet, slightly above where his equipment was located. The existence of a snow cave hinted at a possible scenario where Eric, perhaps disoriented or in a desperate attempt to find shelter, might have dug it out as a temporary refuge from the severe weather. The positioning of these items and the snow cave painted a grim picture of his last known movements, suggesting that he might have been trying to survive alone on the mountain under increasingly difficult circumstances. This part of the search added a layer of profound mystery and urgency to the efforts, driving home the harsh realities of mountain survival and the dire situation that Eric possibly faced. Eric's sudden disappearance spurred a range of theories, each trying to make sense of the scant clues left behind. Some speculate that it may have been an accident, a misstep, or a slip in poor visibility that led him off his designated path without a trace. Others ponder the possibility of foul play. Could tensions or misunderstandings among the climbing team have led to this tragic outcome? There's also the haunting consideration of a voluntary disappearance, suggesting that Eric might have intentionally walked away from his life, prompted by unknown personal turmoil. The harsh conditions on Mount Rainier are known to exacerbate the risk of hypothermia and disorientation, both of which could impair a climber's judgment and physical capabilities. Eric's decision to unclip from the safety rope might have been the result of a confused state brought on by the onset of hypothermia. Alternatively, it could have been a deliberate act of survival, perhaps believing he had a better chance alone, or in a moment of panic induced by the extreme environment. The mysterious circumstances surrounding Eric's disappearance echo other notable cases in mountaineering history. A particularly relevant incident is recounted in Touching the Void, where climber Joe Simpson was left for dead after his partner, Simon Yates, had to cut their connecting rope to prevent both from falling. Simpson, however, survived against all odds. This story, like Eric's, highlights the profound unpredictability and peril inherent in high-altitude climbing, where decisions made under duress can have life or death consequences. These comparisons not only provide context, but also underscore the puzzling and dangerous nature of mountain expeditions, where not all who wander are lost, but some are never found. The unresolved disappearance of Eric Lewis has cast a long shadow over the climbing community around Mount Rainier. It has led to heightened awareness about the unpredictability and dangers of mountain climbing, particularly on routes as challenging as the Gibraltar Ledges. In response, local climbing protocols have been tightened, with increased emphasis on safety checks, climber preparation, and mandatory check-ins at various stages of the ascent. These changes aim to prevent similar incidents, ensuring that climbers are better equipped and more closely monitored. More than a decade later, the case of Eric Lewis remains open yet inactive. No substantial leads or evidence have emerged, despite the passage of years and the continuous efforts of search teams. The periodic reviews of the case have yielded no new insights, leaving the mystery intact. Officially, search operations have been scaled back, but rangers and climbers remain vigilant, always on the lookout for any clue that might emerge from the mountains. Eric's family and friends have lived with his unresolved disappearance for many years. In their statements, they express a mix of grief and unresolved longing for answers. Not knowing what happened is the hardest part, one family member shared, reflecting a sentiment that resonates deeply within the community. They hold on to the hope that someday, some new information may surface that brings closure to this enduring mystery. Reflecting on the nature of climbing high-risk mountains like Mount Rainier brings into sharp focus the immense challenges and risks involved. These mountains demand respect for their sheer power and unpredictability. The emotional and psychological toll on the families and communities of those who go missing on such climbs is profound and lasting. Each disappearance leaves behind a legacy of sorrow, unanswered questions, and a renewed caution among those who continue to venture into these majestic but formidable landscapes. In the serene yet mysterious expanse of Oregon's Coast Range, the popular Drift Creek Falls Trail became the scene of a baffling disappearance that captured the attention of both the local community and the nation. Adrian Alonzo Smith, a 49-year-old hiker, was last seen by a friend who dropped him off at the trailhead. Planned as a routine hike through the lush, widening paths of the forest, the outing turned into a puzzle when Adrian failed to return for his scheduled pickup the next day. The Drift Creek Falls Trail, known for its breathtaking waterfall and scenic suspension bridge, attracts numerous hikers and nature lovers throughout the year. Despite its popularity and the frequent presence of outdoor enthusiasts, the trail's rugged and vast terrain presented a daunting challenge in the search for Adrian. His disappearance amidst such a well-trodden yet wild area added an eerie layer to the unfolding mystery, leaving more questions than answers as the search efforts commenced. Adrian Alonzo Smith was a seasoned adventurer and lover of nature. At 49 years old, his passion for the outdoors was well known among his friends and family. Standing at 6 feet tall and weighing about 170 pounds, Adrian was a robust and striking figure. His physical appearance was further accentuated by shoulder-length brown hair and a collection of vivid tattoos that covered his entire upper body. Among these, a large and intricate pair of wings tattooed across his back stood out prominently, reflecting his free-spirited nature. These tattoos not only expressed his personal aesthetics, but also made him quite recognizable in a crowd, which usually aided in quickly spotting him on busy trails. On the morning of January 19th of 2021, Adrian embarked on what was supposed to be a routine hiking expedition. A close friend, who had shared many hiking adventures with him, was the last to see Adrian as he dropped him off at the Drift Creek Falls trailhead. This area, nestled in the Coast Range east of Lincoln City, Oregon, is a locale that Adrian had visited several times before, drawn by its natural beauty and its challenging trails that it offered. For this particular hike, Adrian was well prepared, carrying supplies that indicated he planned to spend at least one night in the wilderness. His gear included a backpack stocked with essential provisions like water, food, a first aid kit, and camping equipment. This demonstrated his readiness and experience with outdoor pursuits. Furthermore, Adrian had shared with his friend that he intended to explore beyond the familiar 3-mile Drift Creek Trail. His plan to venture into less traveled parts of the forest highlighted his adventurous spirit, but also underscored the inherent risks associated with such activities. The disappearance of Adrian Smith is shrouded in mystery, especially considering his extensive preparation and familiarity with the area. His failure to return for his scheduled pickup the following day was completely out of character and initiated a wave of concern and urgency among those who knew him best. The combination of his readiness for the hike, his detailed plans, and the sudden, unexplained absence paints a perplexing picture, deepening the mystery of what might have happened to him in the expansive and wild terrains of the Oregon Coast Range. The initial response to Adrian's uncharacteristic absence was swift. Concerned about his safety, his friend contacted the local authorities, triggering a large-scale search operation. The search teams, comprised of volunteers and professional rescuers, were equipped with advanced technology, including drones that scoured the forest from above and dogs trained to detect human scents. These early efforts focused on the most frequented paths and the surrounding dense underbrush, areas Adrian was known to enjoy exploring. 2 days into the search, a significant clue emerged. Searchers discovered an encampment believed to be where Adrian had planned to spend the night. The site was found in a secluded area, away from the main trail, nestled under towering trees. Strikingly, the camp appeared untouched since its setup. Food supplies were intact, and a sleeping bag was neatly rolled out, but it was undisturbed. The discovery was haunting. The abandoned camp suggested that Adrian had prepared to stay, but never actually used the site for its intended purpose. The conditions of the encampment raised more questions than answers, deepening the mystery of Adrian's whereabouts and what might have led him away from his planned overnight stay in the wilderness. As the search intensified, the community rallied to assist in any way possible. Local hikers and residents kept their eyes open and shared information, hoping to aid the search teams. One notable tip came from a passerby who reported a curious sighting, a man resembling Adrian, seen shirtless despite the cold weather conditions typically in Oregon in January. This detail was particularly troubling, as being shirtless in such temperatures could indicate that Adrian was experiencing severe hypothermia, causing confusion and poor decision-making. After 2 weeks of relentless searching, the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office made the difficult decision to suspend the search operation. The choice was driven by harsh weather conditions, which not only made the search efforts increasingly dangerous, but also reduced the likelihood of finding Adrian alive. The terrain, combined with the onset of snow and declining temperatures, significantly hampered the ability to thoroughly search the area. Officials stated that the probability of Adrian's survival was exceedingly low given the evidence and environmental conditions, leading to a temporary halt in search activities. Despite the official pause, the search for Adrian was never far from the minds of the community and rescue teams. With the arrival of better weather conditions, search efforts resumed with renewed hope and determination. In mid-March, a hunter traversing the less frequented areas near the trail spotted an unusual object on the hillside. Upon closer inspection with binoculars, the hunter realizing the grim truth. The object was the body of Adrian Smith. The hunter immediately contacted the authorities, who confirmed that the body was indeed Adrian's. He was found near a logging road that was no longer in use on a spur of the trail, having apparently fallen from a steep, deceptive cliff, which likely caused his ultimate demise. This discovery brought a somber closure to the mysterious disappearance of Adrian Alonzo Smith, though many questions about his final hours remain unanswered. The deceptive nature of the cliff, which at a glance seemed less treacherous, contributed to this tragic accident. Law enforcement quickly responded to the hunter's call, confirming the identity of the body and beginning the process of investigating the exact cause of Adrian's fall. The aftermath of the discovery was heart-wrenching for Adrian's family. The family disputed the accuracy of the initial death certificate and pointed out several inconsistencies between the official reports and the information that they had received. Their distress was compounded by a lack of clear communication from the authorities, prompting them to seek more definitive answers about the events leading up to Adrian's death. The local community and fellow hikers reacted with a mix of sorrow and concern following the news of Adrian's death. Many expressed shock and sadness, particularly those who had followed the search efforts closely or participated in them. The incident sparked a broader discussion on safety in hiking and the need for increased awareness of the risks associated with the sport, especially in areas known for their rugged and unpredictable terrain. Hikers began to share their own experiences and tips more actively, aiming to prevent such tragedies in the future. Adrian's disappearance and the mysterious circumstances of his death left a lasting impact on the community, reminding everyone of the delicate balance between enjoying nature's beauty and being respectful of its dangers. This incident highlights the unpredictable nature of outdoor adventures, where even well-prepared and experienced hikers like Adrian can face unforeseen dangers. Reflecting on this tragedy underscores the importance of vigilance and preparedness, emphasizing that the wilderness, while beautiful, can also be unforgiving. The emotional and practical impacts of Adrian's disappearance has resonated deeply within the community. This incident not only stirs emotion, but also serves as a reminder of the inherent risks associated with hiking in remote areas. The blend of sorrow for the loss and the drive for heightened awareness has fostered a stronger sense of community among local hikers and nature enthusiasts. The importance of community support and preparedness in outdoor activities cannot be overstated. Adrian's story is a reminder of our shared responsibility to look out for one another and to respect the forces of nature. It highlights how community involvement, proper planning, and safety awareness can significantly mitigate risks, ensuring that the joy of adventure remains forefront while minimizing the potential for tragedy. In May of 1950, Jim Carter, a seasoned mountaineer and proficient skier, inexplicably vanished during a descent on Mount St. Helens in Washington. As part of a 20-member climbing expedition from Seattle, he had briefly parted ways with his fellow climbers to take a photograph from a unique vantage point. This moment marked the last time anyone would see Carter. His subsequent disappearance has woven a deep, enduring mystery, one that has perplexed and fascinated researchers, adventurers, and the public for decades. Despite extensive search and rescue efforts that followed his last known whereabouts, no trace of Carter was ever found, not even his ski equipment or the photographs he intended to take. This absence of evidence has only amplified the intrigue surrounding his case, turning it into a classic subject of local folklore and a topic of discussion among mystery and outdoor enthusiasts worldwide. The allure of Jim Carter's story is not merely in the details of his disappearance, but in the broader implications it holds around the unknown dangers and mysteries that still persist in the wild. The unresolved nature of his fate continues to captivate the imagination, prompting ongoing speculation and discussions about what might have really happened to him on that fateful day on Mount St. Helens. Jim Carter, at the age of 32, was already well regarded for his exceptional abilities as a skier and mountaineer. His reputation was built on a solid foundation of numerous climbing expeditions and skiing adventures across the rugged landscapes of Washington state. His proficiency in navigating treacherous terrains made him a valued member of any outdoor expedition. In May of 1950, Carter was part of a substantial climbing group consisting of 20 enthusiasts from Seattle. This group, a mix of seasoned climbers and spirited novices, shared a deep passion for the great outdoors and the challenges that it presented. Their primary objective for this particular excursion was to tackle the ascent of Mount St. Helens, a volcanic peak famed for its scenic beauty and the exhilarating slopes that make it a coveted destination for skiers. The expedition was planned with meticulous detail, focusing not just on reaching the summit, but on the adventure of skiing down the imposing slopes of Mount St. Helens. This journey was expected to be a display of skill and teamwork, with each member looking forward to navigating the mountain's varied and demanding topography. As they embarked on their climb, spirits were high, and the group had a sense of adventure and camaraderie. Little did they know, this trip would soon be overshadowed by the mysterious disappearance of Jim Carter, turning what was meant to be a memorable adventure into a perplexing mystery that continues to intrigue and baffle to this day. Jim Carter's mysterious disappearance began at a notable landmark known as Dog's Head, situated approximately 8,000 feet up Mount St. Helens. In a moment that would later be scrutinized for clues, Carter told his fellow climbers of his plan to temporarily leave the group. His intention was to ski down a different path so that he could position himself to photograph his friends as they continued their descent. Trusting in Carter's skills and experience, the group watched him detach and ski away, expecting to see him again once they reached the timberline. However, as the group made their way down, what they witnessed next was entirely out of character for the seasoned mountaineer. Carter was observed taking extraordinarily risky maneuvers that seemed reckless and unnecessary. Unlike his usual cautious and calculated style, he was seen hurling down the mountain, jumping over massive crevasses, and skiing at breakneck speeds. Observers described his actions as those of a man in sheer panic, as if he were being chased or fleeing from some unseen danger. The behavior was shocking to his friends and fellow skiers, as it contradicted everything known about Carter's approach to mountaineering. His final descent was not only perilous but mystifying, leaving those who last saw him puzzled and concerned. This frantic dash down the slopes was the last time anyone would see Jim Carter. His abrupt and unexplained change in behavior, coupled with his subsequent disappearance, has fueled much speculation and remains a focal point in the enduring mystery of what exactly happened on that fateful day. The search for Jim Carter began almost immediately after his disappearance was noticed. The initial efforts focused around the area that he was last seen. It was here, at his supposed photography spot, that searchers made a puzzling discovery: a discarded film box. This small clue suggested that Carter had at least reached this location, but it offered no further clues about his direction or fate. As the days passed with no sign of Carter, the search operation expanded. Teams combed the mountain slopes, delving into crevasses and scouring the area Carter might have traversed. Despite these efforts, no trace of him, no equipment, no additional personal items were found. Recognizing the severity and challenge of the situation, experienced mountaineer Bob Lee was called in to lead the extended search. Bob Lee, known for his involvement in numerous rescue operations and a member of the prestigious Alpine Club, brought a level of expertise that boosted the search team's efforts. Under his leadership, the search became more organized and exhaustive. They covered increasingly challenging terrain, including the steep and perilous area near Ape Canyon, where Carter's tracks were thought to have led. Despite these extensive efforts, which included weeks of searching and the involvement of as many as 75 people at a time, the mystery deepened. Carter remained missing, and the lack of substantial findings only added to the intrigue and speculation surrounding his fate. Several theories have emerged over the years regarding Jim Carter's sudden disappearance, each exploring different possibilities that might explain his mysterious last-moment scene racing down the slopes. One common theory is that Carter might have experienced a sudden onset of panic, perhaps triggered by an unexpected natural event such as an avalanche or a sudden, severe change in weather conditions. This could potentially explain why he abandoned his typical cautious demeanor for a reckless descent, seemingly without concern for his own safety. Another theory suggests that Carter could have been chased by something or someone, prompting him to undertake perilous, risky maneuvers as he attempted to escape. This theory often converges with speculations about encountering wildlife or, more mysteriously, something unknown that frightened him to such an extent that he felt compelled to flee in panic for his life. These theories added deeply to local folklore, particularly the eerie legend surrounding Ape Canyon. The canyon is infamous for the 1924 incident where miners reported being attacked by what they described as giant apes, leading to a terrifying night of violence that saw these creatures besieging the miners' cabin. This legendary attack has been etched into the area's folklore and has led some to speculate that if such creatures were more than only a myth, perhaps Carter had his own terrifying encounter. Linking Carter's disappearance to these tales of mysterious creatures in Ape Canyon invites a supernatural element into the discussion. It stirs the imagination and raises the possibility that the disappearance was not merely an accident or a result of a natural force, but something far more unusual. This connection to the lore does more than just provoke curiosity. It embeds his story within a larger narrative of mystery and unexplained phenomena that has hovered over this region since the events of 1924. The intertwining of Carter's disappearance with these tales creates a layered mystery that combines elements of natural dangers, human error, and potentially encounters with the unknown. As such, the true reason behind his disappearance remains an open question, one that continues to fascinate and haunt those who delve into the lore of Mount St. Helens. This disappearance remains one of the most intriguing unsolved mysteries of the Pacific Northwest. Over the decades, the lack of conclusive evidence and the strange circumstances surrounding his last known actions have captivated the imagination of many. The story has persisted, largely because it combines elements of danger, the unexplained, and the supernatural, which are compelling to both the local community and outsiders. This enduring mystery invites endless speculation and discussion, contributing to its mythical status. The impact of Carter's story extends beyond just an unsolved case. It has influenced popular culture and local folklore significantly. Documentaries, books, and articles have featured his disappearance, often highlighting the eerie and unexplained aspects of his last journey. These narratives typically portray Carter's story within the broader context of Mount St. Helens' mysterious allure, including other legends like the sighting of Sasquatch or the supernatural tales of Ape Canyon. Furthermore, Carter's story has been woven into the cultural fabric of America, enhancing the mystique of Mount St. Helens and its surroundings. It serves as a chilling reminder of the mountain's unpredictable nature and the mysteries that may lie beyond the reach of human understanding and exploration. This blending of fact and folklore continues to draw hikers, thrill seekers, and paranormal enthusiasts to the region, each hoping to uncover a piece of the puzzle, or perhaps experience their own brush with the unknown. Jim Carter, the experienced skier and mountaineer, vanished in 1950 during a descent on Mount St. Helens after separating from his climbing group to take photographs. His last actions, marked by unusually reckless skiing over dangerous terrain, were witnessed by his friends. Despite extensive and exhaustive efforts led by experienced rescuers, no trace of Carter was ever found, not his equipment, nor any signs of an accident, injury, or foul play. The mystery of Jim Carter's disappearance continues to intrigue and puzzle. It taps into human fascination with the unexplained and the allure of unsolvable mysteries. Such stories have captivated us because they challenge the limits of our understanding and invite the imagination to explore scenarios that defy conventional science or explanation. In the case of Jim Carter, the lack of closure provides fertile ground for theories that range from the plausible to the supernatural, keeping the legend alive and stirring the curiosity of new generations. This enduring mystery not only underscores the unpredictability of nature, but also highlights our perpetual quest to make sense of the inexplicable in our natural world. Joshua Tree National Park is a vast desert landscape that has long captivated the hearts of adventurers and nature lovers. With its beauty dotted with rugged rock formations and twisted, spiky Joshua trees, it is a place where the sky stretches endlessly during the day and fills with a sea of stars at night. It's a destination that promises solitude and adventure, making it a perfect escape for those to explore the mysteries and challenges of the wilderness. Bill Ewasko was a 65-year-old businessman from Marietta, Georgia, with a deep love for the outdoors. An experienced hiker accustomed to the Georgia heat, Bill's trips were fueled by a desire to merge with nature and test his limits. His yearly journeys to Joshua Tree National Park were a testament to his enduring passion for hiking and adventure. Engaged to be married, Bill was known among his friends and family as a kind-hearted and adventurous spirit, always ready for his next challenge. In late June of 2010, Bill planned on what he had hoped to be a regular solo adventure in Joshua Tree National Park. His preparations were thorough as always. He flew into Los Angeles, rented a car, and drove to Rancho Mirage, where he stayed at a friend's vacant condo. The day before his hike, Bill checked his equipment, reviewed his route, and had made a couple of phone calls to his fiancée, Mary. He shared his excitement and outlined his plans, which included hiking to Carey's Castle, a remote and less traveled destination in the park. Despite Mary's concerns about the ambitious hike given the desert heat, Bill reassured her with a laugh, showing no signs of changing his mind. On June 24th of 2010, Bill set out early from the condo, his spirits high and ready for the day ahead. He drove to the Juniper Flats Trailhead, a popular starting point for many trails, including the ambitious trek to Quail Mountain, which was listed on his itinerary. The last known communication from Bill was a cell phone call made in the morning, confirming his location at the trailhead and his plan to return by that evening. After the call, the silence from Bill grew as the hours passed, with no more calls or messages sent. When Bill failed to return at the agreed time, Mary's worries quickly escalated into fear. Early the next morning, she contacted the park authorities to report Bill missing. The park rangers sprung into action, initially checking the trailheads before discovering Bill's car parked at the Juniper Flats parking area. This discovery confirmed that he had started his hike, but where he went from there remained a mystery. The search efforts began immediately, with rangers and volunteers combing the vast, open spaces of the park for any sign of Bill. The initial hours of the search were filled with a mix of hope and dread as search teams faced the daunting task of tracing Bill's steps in the expansive wilderness of Joshua Tree National Park. As each hour passed without a sign of Bill, the mystery of his disappearance deepened, setting the stage for a long and perplexing search that would captivate and puzzle all who followed it. As soon as Bill Ewasko was reported missing, Joshua Tree Park authorities mobilized a large-scale search operation. The teams of rangers and volunteers quickly assembled, ready to scour the rugged terrain. They started at the Juniper Flats trailhead, where Bill's car was found, indicating his entry point into the park. The initial search focused on the most accessible paths and surrounding areas, expanding gradually into more remote and less traveled regions of the park. Helicopters buzzed overhead, providing an aerial view of the vast desert landscape, while ground teams worked tirelessly through the rocky terrain. Despite their efforts, the first few days passed with no trace of Bill, intensifying the mystery of his disappearance. As the official search efforts began to wane without any results, Tom Mahood, a former member of the Riverside Mountain Rescue Unit, took up the cause. Driven by a mix of dedication and personal intrigue, Tom organized a long-term volunteer search operation. He and other volunteers, equipped with extensive search and rescue training, made numerous trips into the park. These searches were meticulously planned and executed, with volunteers using GPS to map their routes and cover new areas that had not been thoroughly searched. Tom's commitment brought a renewed vigor to the search efforts, keeping the hope alive that answers might still be found. Drones were also deployed to get a view of the difficult-to-reach areas. However, the terrain of Joshua Tree posed significant challenges. The vast open spaces, coupled with rugged mountains and deep valleys, made it difficult to search thoroughly. The desert environment, with its extreme temperatures and minimal water sources, added another layer of difficulty, limiting the duration searchers could safely remain out in the field. Despite the use of advanced technology and the determination of volunteers, the harsh landscape often hindered efforts, leaving many areas only superficially examined. This combination of high-tech tools and the brutal desert environment created a search scenario that was both advanced and fraught with obstacles, deepening the puzzle of Bill's disappearance in the vast wilderness. As the search for Bill continued without conclusive results, various theories began to circulate about his fate. Some believe that Bill may have succumbed to natural misadventures such as dehydration or a fall, common risks in the harsh desert environment. Others speculated more unusual scenarios, such as the possibility of an encounter with wildlife or even foul play, though there was no direct evidence to support any of these theories. Another suggestion was that Bill, an experienced hiker, might have intentionally gone off the grid or gotten lost while exploring the unknown paths of the park. Each theory brought its own set of questions and possibilities, deepening the mystery surrounding his disappearance. The discovery of his vehicle provided a concrete clue that had at least begun his journey into the park. Additionally, a faint cell phone ping was detected, estimated to be 10.6 miles from the Sarin Drive cell tower, suggesting a general area where Bill might have been during his hike. However, these clues offered limited information and did not lead to finding Bill, only adding to the growing list of unanswered questions. This search captivated a wide audience, including internet sleuths and online communities who follow and discuss this case extensively. These digital detectives pored over maps, shared updates, and speculated on various aspects of the search, helping to keep interest alive and in the public eye. Their involvement brought diverse perspectives and theories, some contributing useful suggestions that influenced actual search strategies. This community effort highlighted the unique role that public engagement can play in modern search and rescue operations, transforming a local missing person case into a wider mystery that captured the imaginations of people around the world. After years of continuous searching and growing mysteries, Bill Ewasko's remains were eventually found by a pair of hikers exploring a remote area of Joshua Tree. These hikers, who were not part of the organized search efforts, stumbled upon Bill's remain almost by chance, bringing a long and painful search to a sudden and unexpected end. The location was off the usual paths, hidden in a part of the park that had been difficult for search teams to access fully. The discovery answered the haunting question of Bill's whereabouts, but opened new questions about the circumstances leading to his final moments in such a secluded spot. The finding of Bill's remains brought a profound sense of closure to his family, friends, and the many volunteers who had dedicated years to searching for him. For his family and fiancée, it was a sorrowful resolution, providing them with the ability to finally mourn and honor Bill's memory with the knowledge of his final fate. The search community, including the dedicated volunteers and internet sleuths who had followed every development, felt a mix of relief and sadness. Their collective efforts had not been in vain. They had brought crucial information and support that kept the search alive, ultimately leading to this resolution. This search also left a lasting impact on all those involved, prompting reflections on the risks associated with hiking in such an unforgiving landscape. Many from the search teams and the broader community took away vital safety lessons, such as the importance of proper preparation, the need for communication devices that work in these remote areas, and the value of leaving detailed plans with someone before embarking on such adventures. Additionally, the experience underscored the unpredictability of nature and the profound respects that it demands. Those who had spent countless hours searching for Bill spoke about the humbling effect of the vast wilderness and the critical importance of personal safety measures. This tragedy, while deeply saddening, served as a reminder of the risks inherent in exploring the wild and the precautions necessary to mitigate them. The tragic tale of Bill Ewasko's disappearance has left a mark on the hiking culture around Joshua Tree National Park. His story has heightened awareness about the risks of hiking in such a demanding environment, leading to improved safety protocols and educational efforts aimed at hikers. Local hiking groups and park authorities now emphasize the importance of preparation, the use of GPS and reliable communication tools, and the critical nature of leaving detailed itineraries with someone before setting out. Bill's experience has become a cautionary tale, prompting better safety measures and more cautious planning among the hiking community. Despite the discovery of Bill's remains, many questions about his final hours remain unanswered. The exact circumstances of how he ended up in such a remote area, what challenges he faced, and the cause of his death are still shrouded in mystery. Bill's story not only impacted the safety practices of the park, but also continues to captivate and educate new generations of hikers and adventurers. His story is often shared as a powerful reminder of the wilderness's unpredictable nature and the utmost respect that it demands from those who venture into it. The mysterious aspects of his disappearance and the extensive search efforts have also become a topic of interest in discussions about outdoor survival, search and rescue operations, and the use of technology in wilderness navigation. The emotional and practical impacts of Bill Ewasko's story are profound. It has touched hearts with its mix of adventure, mystery, and tragedy, while also imparting crucial lessons about personal safety and preparedness. Bill's tale is a reminder of the fine line between seeking adventure and confronting danger, and it underscores the indomitable spirit of those who seek to understand and explore the vast unknowns of our natural world. In remembering Bill, we recognize the allure of the wilderness, the risks that it holds, and the enduring human spirit that compels us to explore, despite all of the dangers. As our journey through the shadowed paths of America's national parks comes to a close, we are reminded that beauty and mystery often dwell side by side, each story leaving us with more questions than answers. Thank you for joining us in exploring these puzzling disappearances. Your curiosity fuels our quest for the unknown. If you've enjoyed delving into these mysteries with us, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to A Universe of Mystery. Your support helps us bring you more stories shrouded in secrecy and intrigue. And if you feel particularly drawn to these tales, consider leaving a super comment. Any amount contributes directly to our ability to investigate and share even more bewildering stories with you. Every like, share, and super comment not only supports the channel, but also joins us together in a community captivated by the world's most profound mysteries. Stay curious and keep exploring with us. Until next time, keep the spirit of adventure alive, and perhaps you'll uncover a mystery of your own. Goodbye for now, from A Universe of Mystery.